Stop doing these 4 things if you want football clubs to trust you and work with you as an agent. There's this thing in the industry that most agents often do things without knowing. So I'm going to give you 4 things today that if you ignore it or you stop doing it, then football clubs are going to look at you in a different way. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is recommending players. A lot of football agents have these things that probably because they are connected agents around. So most of the time, an agent can have a player and he doesn't have a market for that player. So he sent to another player, to another agent, that can you give me this? Can you take this player and market this player for me or sell it and then you get a commission? Yes, that is good and fine because at least if you have a market for that. But the most important thing that I see here is you don't know that player who is coming. You don't know his attitude. You don't know his character. You don't know anything about him. So you have to watch that player very careful. So you have to stop because most big agents have lost deals, or most agents who are growing have lost connections that they have built over time because of this. Because another agent recommends a player to them, then they take it and sell or give it to the club they have network with, and then the player ends up with bad character or whatsoever. Then it becomes challenging for that agent now to work with that club again because they don't trust him because they see that he's recommending bad players. Whereas the problem here was you never actually study the personality, the character, the family, and everything that player came from. So stop this and try to learn about the human side of the player before you recommend him to any of your network at a football club. Okay? Then the next thing also that I see in the industry is statistics, exaggerating statistics. A lot of the time you get messages from other people or other agents like, hey, this, my player, he's superb. He's actually fantastic. If you take him to a football club, he's going to get you a lot of good results. And then they exaggerate the statistics of the player. Whereas probably when you speak now to football clubs about the player and send that player to the football club, when they check the statistics, because these clubs now have white scout, they have the analytics department and have all this kind of department, then they see that the player is not what you made of. Whereas you have just gotten information from another agent, and then because you see probably a 5 or 3 minute highlight video of that player, you're in a haste to send that player to a club as quick as possible because you have a connection with that club, and then you want to start doing business because you're looking at that commission. This is going to ruin you as well. So everything you have to check about the player, you have to look all these critical things because if not, if you're in a haste in this industry, you end up not lasting so long. So this is also another red flag that I've seen that you have to be very careful. Okay. The next thing also I see also is hiding weaknesses. So this also comes from players, a lot of players from different nationalities. Let's take example. A player is struggling and probably wants to meet ends meet, and his family depends on him to become a professional player. Then that player now meets an agent and say, hey, I would like to I would like to travel to Europe and probably fulfill my dream of playing football. Then that agent now you take that player to a club, not knowing what is his injury record and all those kind of details. So again, I remember when I started in the industry, there was an agent that I'm not going to mention his name that actually he doesn't work anymore. But the reason he doesn't work anymore because people used to just recommend players to him. He never knew anything about the injury record of the player. So he brought probably like 4 players to Finland in particular. And when those players went for trials, what those players actually did was just on the first day of trials, they fake injury, and then, but the problem the players had is when they went for scan, they discovered that those were all injuries, and that agent ended up losing his reputation because the reason is not because he's a bad person, but I think negligent for just when people recommend players to you, you just want to take them, even as talented as how, even if they are talented, you don't look at so many things that you need to observe and know that this is a business. Once you fail, people don't trust you because there's money involved in this. That's just how ruthless the industry is. So this is my also advice to fellow agents or other players or whosoever may be listening to this, that you have to be careful also with this one. And finally, the most challenging thing in the industry for agents is stop chasing short-term commissions. So this is hurting you, hurting your players, and hurting even your business. So this is an example of this. So first time, you know when an agent has, let's say, a deal, a quick deal, and then the player is not ready also for a specific level, but you want to still push him a lot because you want that commission to fall into your bank account. You want when they pay the player, you don't care if the player sits on the bench or not. But again, this is short term because when the player ends up sitting on the bench, he's going to get released. We have seen players being released at at 26, 27, 25, which is supposed to be entering their peak. But they are released because the deals, there's no plan or structure behind the player himself. What do I mean by that plan or structure? The family has to have an agent that actually think of long term, like, hey, is the player going to play in this league? Because I think an agent should be moving the player into a league that that you think he has a chance of playing so that he can keep developing. So that when he arrives his peak, he's already at the place that he can play regularly. There's no sitting on the bench. Most players, of course, injuries happen, but most players that have a structural background or a plan behind them end up succeeding because they have a team that they have an agent that tells them that, hey, I'm not going to take you to this league. Of course, the commission is high for me, but I'm going to drop that commission. I'm not going to take you here because my thing is you have to play. And because when you play here, eventually the agent is going to get rich if you keep on playing regularly, which is the most important thing for agents who don't understand. Find a place that you think your player can play and develop. If the league doesn't suit him, and then there's a high commission there, forget about that short-term commission and focus on the league that suits him. Yes, I know people are going to say, well, I need my finance or whatsoever. But at the end of the day, you're not going to get any finances from that. Because when the player gets released and lacking a club, you're going to struggle to get that commission you're looking for. So if you plan smart and always look for, this is your conversation you should be having with coaches. What are your plans with him signing my player? Okay, the coach might say, well, he's going to start. If he earns the right to play, he plays. Good and fine. But you have to analyze also and say, if you have to feel whether the coach wants a player or not. Does he have a chance if he keeps developing? Is he going to have a chance to play? Those are the things those are the conversations you have to be having. Because when you start looking at commission, that commission, it will not, you end up not getting it because you get few checks here and there. But after when the player is released, you start looking for another club again. So I hope this helps you because these are the 4 things that I think that you need to look out for as a football agent and try to build your career in a successful way. And you have to know that in this industry, reputation goes far. The more your reputation, if you do something with a good reputation, it starts going far. People talk in this industry. So you have to be able to learn to do things the right way so that when your reputation goes far in a positive way, that's more nice. When your reputation goes bad in a negative way, nobody wants to do business with you because finances of doing the repercussion of doing business with you is so negative. It's going to make uh, the club lose money. So no one wants to lose money, that's for sure. And sporting directors don't want to lose their job. So you have to analyze these things very, very careful. Okay, so that's it for this video. I wanted to put this one out there so that at least it can help you look at what you're lacking. If you're doing these things, you have to stop and start adjusting. Okay, I'm Dr. Brian, FIFA licensed agent. I do help agents develop their network of football clubs. If you're in this place, if you're a new agent or an agent that you don't know how to develop your network, I can use LinkedIn or whatsoever ways to teach you how sporting directors communicate. I've been interviewing a lot of sporting directors and also tell you how you can look at how you can start building connection using recruitment processes of football clubs so that when you speak, people know that you are speaking their language and they will start working with you. If you are interested in this kind of thing, you can book a call or book a consultation call below. The link is below. Or also, secondly, after booking that, you can also try to develop your networking tips by joining my Skool community, where I teach people a lot of methods how to network with football clubs and how to approach sporting directors. So that's it, and have a nice time. Bye for now. Cheers.